Welcome to the Madison Miller Podcast. Today is Tuesday, June 25th, 2024. Today we're going to Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Final, Game 6 of the Calder Cup Final, MLB, soccer, WNBA. We have Men's College World Series, Game 3 to go over, news and notes, best bets. So we're trying to make it a shorter show today. Stanley Cup Finals, where we'll begin. A great Game 7 with the Florida Panthers getting their first Stanley Cup in franchise history with the 2-1 victory over the Edmonton Oilers to avoid a historical collapse and to cap off a great season. And sometimes you have to hit a bump in the road like that if you're trying for something so hard that you are working on. Florida scored 4:27 into the game on a goal by Calder for Hagee, assisted by Evan Rodriguez and Antoine Lundell. Went up to Florida. Then tying up the game at 1 apiece, Matthias Janmark, his fourth of the playoffs from Cody Ceci, makes it 1-1. Then the second period, with about 5 minutes left, Sam Reinhart scores the 10th of the playoffs from Calder for Hagee, and Dmitry Kulikov to make it 2-1 Florida. And that was all the scoring that was needed. Sergei Bobrovsky in the win. 23 saves on 24 shots. In Edmonton, Stuart Skinner, 19 saves on 21 shots. Stars of the game. Number 3 started game with the goal and assist, Calder for Hagee. Number 2 started game with the goal, Sam Reinhart. Number 1 started game with 23 saves on 24 shots, of course, for Sergei Bobrovsky. So congrats to the Panthers. They've earned it. They probably were the best team in the league the whole season, but they had a rough point at one point in the season that kind of cost them the President's Trophy, and the Rangers were the team that, there were a couple teams that stepped up, but the Rangers were the team that stepped up the most when the Panthers had a rough patch at one point during the season. But it's okay, rough patches happen, and you don't always have to finish with the best record to win the whole thing. That's what the Panthers have taught us, although they did win their division, but they didn't have the best or the most points. Great team. Sergei Bobrovsky was one of the best signings in franchise history after it looked like a complete flop of a signing. They stole Matt Tkachuk from Calgary. Sam Reinhart, great pickup. All these other role players are great. Calder for Hagee. Evan Rodriguez. Vlad Tarasenko was a good pickup at the trade deadline. So this team is really good, and they'll be back next year because they're favored to win the Stanley Cup. But will it be harder for them to get there? I think the path will be just as about as hard in the East. The Rangers should be, in theory, back next year. Boston's going to be worse. Toronto, the TBD. The Capitals are flirting with being better. The Penguins are going to be worse, probably. The Islanders you would think, are going to be about the same. The Devils are the team that I think are going to be better in the East next year. Carolina's going to be worse. They have a lot of free agents. Buffalo should be better. Detroit should be better. And even teams like Ottawa and Montreal should be improved too. So, it shouldn't be easy next year for Florida either. And then on the flip side, Edmonton, great run. Being down 3-0 is not easy, and they deserve a lot of credit for coming back to force a Game 7. That's the second year in a row in sports where we saw a team down 3-0 come back to force a Game 7 but not win. Obviously, the Celtics last year was the one that came back from 3-0 to force a Game 7 but didn't win. Connor McDavid was the Conn Smythe Trophy winner. it's debatable whether that was deserved or not because this team lost. The case for it, that he deserved it was that he broke the single season playoff points record, and he helped his team come back from 3-0 to force a Game 7. The case against it, he didn't have a point in his last 2 games, and they lost. So that's the case against Connor McDavid winning the Conn Smythe. I didn't have that big of a problem with it as other people did, but nobody on Florida stood out. If Bobrovsky didn't have a bad Game 4, Game 5, even Game 6, those 3 games cost Sergei Bobrovsky the Conn Smythe trophy, in my opinion. If he was solid if he didn't give up 9 in the one game, then he probably would have won it. That's my opinion. The 9-goal game, if you give up 9 goals in a playoff game, you shouldn't win the Conn Smythe trophy. That's my rule. You could argue Barkov could have won it. You could have argued some other players. But, I'm okay with McDavid winning it in a losing effort. I compared it to, had the Mavericks made that a 6 or 7 game series, and Luka should have been the finals MVP over Jaylen Brown. So, to me, that's a comparison. Although Connor McDavid's better in his sport than Luka is in his sport, but Luka literally was the Mavericks. And at least, I know he has Kyrie and some role guys, and McDavid has Draisaitl, Zach Hyman broke out, and some role guys, but Edmonton, will they be back in the mix next year? If you have Connor McDavid on your team, you should be back. But one could argue that was probably going to be their best chance. Dallas is going to be better next year. Vegas is going to be better. The Blackhawks, before we know it, are going to be a contender with the other Connor. You have also Winnipeg, who was good this past year, although they would probably be worse. But yeah, the West is probably more wide open than the East next year. Although, one could argue that this was Edmonton's best chance. Because, like I said, the Stars are going to be better. Vegas is going to be better. Colorado is going to be back with Gabe Landeskog, so they have to be taken seriously as a contender. Chicago is going to be better within the next couple of years. Even San Jose, with assuming they pick Celebrini on Friday night, they're going to be better down the road. So, it's going to be exciting. Exciting times ahead for the NHL, and congrats again to the Florida Panthers for their first Stanley Cup in franchise history. All right, the AHL now, the Calder Cup final. The Hershey Bears repeat as Calder Cup champions with a 5-4 win in overtime over the Coachella Valley Firebirds. So congrats to the Bears. Amazing 2-year run for them, especially this season, having the best regular season record in AHL history. And like the Panthers, the Bears blew a 3-0 series lead, but that was in the previous round. Everybody's going to face adversity, and the Bears handled adversity better than a lot of AHL teams I've seen in the past. So first period, actually, Coachella scored first. Ryan Winterton, his 6th of the playoffs, made it 1-0 Coachella. Then Pierre Dubé, his 5th of the playoffs from Hendrix Lapierre and Joe Snively on the power play, made it 1-1. So Winterton scored a minute 37 into the game, and then about 6 minutes in was when Dubé ties it. And then right before the end of the first period, Hendrix Lapierre, 7th of the playoffs from Chase Prisky, makes it 2-1 Bears. Second period, about 2 minutes when Marian Studenik, his 4th of the playoffs from Devon Shore, and Jimmy Schultz made it 2-2. And about 8 minutes into the second, Ryan Winterton, again, his 7th of the playoffs from Shane Wright and Cameron Hughes, makes it 3-2 Coachella. And then about, I'd say, 6 minutes left in the second. Pierre Dubé, his second of the game from Alex Lindgos and Jimmy Huntington, made it 3-2 Bears. Or 3-3, never mind, 3-3. And in the third period, about 9 minutes in, Pierre Dubé gets the hat trick, his 7th of the playoffs from Alex Lindgos, makes it a 4-3 Bears lead. And with about 2 minutes left, Cale Fleury, about 3 minutes left, Cale Fleury's 5th of the playoffs from Shane Wright and Cam Hughes ties it at 4 apiece. Then a minute 6 into overtime, Matt Strome, his 2nd of the postseason from Riley Sutter and Bogdan Triniev, gives the Bears a 5-4 win as they repeat as Calder Cup champions. Number 3 started game with 2 assists, Alex Lindgos. Number 2 started game with the hat trick, Pierre Dubé. And the number 1 started game with the Calder Cup clinching goal, Matt Strome, of course. So Hunter Shepard, 17 saves on 21 shots, and Chris Strieger, 17 saves on 22 shots. But yeah, congrats to the Bears. They earned it. Probably the better team. I know they were lucky to arguably be here because a lot of their wins were in overtime, and Cleveland came back and made that series a lot more interesting than it should have been. You could argue Cleveland could have beat them. You could have argued Coachella should have won today and this should have gone 7. But sometimes you need the luck on your side, and the Bears were clutch and they deserve it. Todd Nelson, I think, should be back next season, although I wouldn't be surprised if he left to be an assistant coach because all the NHL jobs are filled, and Dan Belisma, who's the coach of the Firebirds, is being promoted to the Kraken to be their head coach. So that's not all that surprising. So it's going to be interesting to see who replaces Belisma, maybe one of the assistants. It'd be cool if Jessica Campbell got the promotion, just to have a female head coach in the sport. Stu Bickle is the other assistant. And then on the Bears side, Patrick Weller and Nick Bootland were the assistants. I mean, if Nelson were to leave, one of those guys could get promoted, or maybe they'll try to get Bruce Boudreau to come back, which would be pretty cool. So, congrats to the Bears. It's going to be an interesting offseason in hockey in general. And now move on to baseball. We'll go over the results from yesterday and look ahead to today's games. Guardians over to O's 3-2. Phils over to Tigers 8-1. Rays over to Mariners 4-3. Reds over to Pirates 11-5. Red Sox over to Blue Jays 7-6 on a walk-off single by Jared Duran after being down 6-2. So a good win from behind for the Red Sox. Cardinals over to Braves 4-3. Dodgers over to White Sox 3-0. Royals over to Marlins 4-1. So best bet 1. Brewers over to Rangers 6-3. Angels over to A's 5-1. Padres over to Nats 7-6 and 10 on a walk-off single by Jerks and Profar. They scored 4 in the bottom of the 10th. The Padres did after Keibert Ruiz hit the go-ahead double. And then Nick Senzel homered. So that was a fun game out in San Diego. And then the Giants over the Cubs 5-4 in a game where they honored the late Willie Mays. All right, tonight's game, 6:30, Guardians O's. Logan Allen and Cole Irvin. Should be an interesting game. Just going to pull up the odds really quickly. The O's are minus 144. The Guardians are plus 122. Over under 9.5. Over receiving money. Unders minus 122. Guardians plus 1.5 is minus 164. O's minus 1.5 is plus 136. That's a little bit of a hard one. The Guardians are playing good baseball right now. I don't want to go there, but I'm going to lay the run line with those. Phil's Tigers, Rangers Suarez, and Tariq Skubal. Fantastic pitching matchup. Phil's minus 134, Tigers plus 106 over under 7.5, minus 172. Phil's minus 1.5 is plus 132, Tigers plus 1.5 is minus 160. I'm going with the under. Mariners race at 650. Luis Castillo, Zach Little. Mariners minus 124, Rays plus 106, over under 7.5, overs minus 8, unders minus 112. Mariners minus 1.5 is plus 134, Rays plus 1.5 is minus 162. I'm going to go with the over, but I don't feel good about it. 7 o'clock on CBS, Yankees Mets from Citi Field. Garrett Cole's second start of the year against David Peterson. Yankees minus 148, Mets plus 126, over under 8.5, minus 110 each way. Yankees minus 1.5 is plus 112, Mets plus 1.5 is minus 134. I'm going to go with the under, and this is a Garrett Cole bounce backy kind of bet, like reminding you guys, hey, I'm Garrett Cole, don't forget about me. I'm the best pitcher in New York, not Louis Seal, not whoever on the Mets. It's me kind of game. Under. And this is solely a Garrett Cole pick. Pirates, Reds, Mitch Keller, Hunter Green. Reds minus 120, Pirates plus 102, over under 8.5, overs minus 105, unders minus 115. Pirates minus 1.5 is plus 146, Reds plus 1.5 is minus 178. I like the under. Blue Jays, Red Sox, Kevin Gausman and Brian Balow. Red Sox minus 118, Jays even money, over under 9, overs minus 8, unders minus 112. Jays minus 1.5 is plus 146, Red Sox plus 1.5 is minus 176. The Red Sox are playing good baseball. I'm going to take them at minus 118. It's like a discount. I'm getting them at 7:45. Braves, Cards. Reynaldo Lopez and Kyle Gibson. Braves minus 136. Cards plus 116, over under 8.5. Overs minus 105. Unders minus 115. Braves minus 1.5 is plus 120. Cards plus 1.5 is minus 144. I like the under. Rockies, Astros. Austin Gomber, Hunter Brown. Astros minus 255. Rockies plus 210, over under 8. Overs minus 120. Unders minus 102. Rockies plus 1.5 is plus 105. Astros minus 1.5 is minus 126. This is a hard pick. I'm going to go with over 3.5 Rocky runs at plus 122. Dodgers, White Sox, Bobby Miller and Chris Flexen. Dodgers minus 230, White Sox plus 190, over under 9.5, overs even money, unders minus 122. Dodgers minus 1.5 is minus 137, White Sox plus 1.5 is plus 114. I'm going to go with the over, but I don't feel good about it. Marlins, Royals, Yanni Chirino, Seth Lugo. Royals minus 200, Marlins plus 168, over under 9.5, overs minus 115, unders minus 105. Marlins plus 1.5 is minus 120, Royals minus 1.5 is even money. I like the under again. Rangers, Brewers, Andrew Heaney and Bryce Wilson. Rangers plus 108, Brewers minus 126, over under 8.5, overs minus 118, unders minus 104. Rangers plus 1.5 is minus 194, Brewers minus 1.5 is plus 160. I'm going to go with the over at minus 118. 9:30, A's, Angels. Mitch Spence and Tyler Anderson. Angels minus 122, A's plus 104, of under 8.5, overs minus 105, unders minus 115. A's plus 1.5 is minus 94, Angels minus 1.5 is plus 160. Over, but I don't feel good about it. Twins, D-backs, Joe Ryan, Brandon Pfaadt. Twins minus 126, D-backs plus 108, over under 8, minus 110 each way. Twins minus 1.5 is plus 136, D-backs plus 1.5 is minus 164, I like the over. Nats, Padres, Mackenzie Gore and Adam Mazur. Padres minus 112, Nats minus 104, over under 7.5, overs minus 104, unders minus 118. Nats minus 1.5 is plus 52, Padres plus 1.5 is minus 184. I'm laying it with the Nationals on the money line, minus 104. And last but not least, 9:45, Cubs, Giants. Both teams with identical records, by the way. Kyle Hendricks and TBD. Cubs minus 118, Giants even money, over under 8, minus 1 each way. Cubs minus 1.5 is plus 138. Giants plus 1.5 is minus 166. I'm going to go with the Cubs minus 118. I'm going back to the well. All right, now I'll move on to soccer. We'll go over the results from yesterday of note and look ahead to everything today. We'll start with the Euros. Oh, we have a lot of games today in Euro. Croatia, Italy, 1-1 draw, and Spain over Albania, 1-0. All right, 12 o'clock on Fox Sports 1. Netherlands, Austria, Group D. So Netherlands got the win over Poland, and they drew against France. Austria beat Poland and lost to France. The Dutch should be favored in this match. And even money, yes. Austria's plus 310. The draw's plus 220. I'm going to go with the Netherlands at even money. 12 o'clock on Fox, France, Poland. France drew against the Netherlands, beat Austria. And then Poland lost to the Netherlands and Austria. France is minus 450. Poland's 12-1. The draw's 5-1. I'll admit defeat on Poland. I thought they were going to be a surprise, but I was wrong. So I'm going to go under 2.5 goals plus 140. 3 o'clock, Fox Sports 1. Denmark, Serbia. That's Group C. So Denmark drew against England and Slovenia. Serbia drew against Slovenia, and they lost to England. Denmark plus 135, Serbia plus 220, draw plus 210. I'm going with Serbia plus 135. And 3 o'clock on Fox is England, Slovenia. England beat Serbia and drew against Denmark, and Slovenia drew against both Denmark and Serbia. England minus 350, Slovenia 10-1. The draw's plus 420. I'm going to go with over 2.5 goals at minus 116. Copa America, Colombia over Paraguay 2-1. Brazil, Costa Rica 0-0 draw. Tonight at 6 o'clock is Peru, Canada. Now we're back to Group A. Canada lost its first match to Argentina, and Chile drew against Peru. Canada plus 130, Peru plus 230, draw plus 210. Okay, so this is a hard one. And where I decided to go was the upset Peru plus 230. And at 9 o'clock on Fox Sports 1's Chile, Argentina. Argentina won both its matches, or won its match against Canada, and Chile and Peru drew. Argentina minus 230, Chile 7-1, the draw plus 320. I'm going to go with over 2.5 goals at plus 126. I'm just going to double check and make sure there's no other notable soccer going on today that we have to talk about. Other than the important stuff. Yeah, no, we're good. All right, now we'll go to the WNBA. We did not have any games yesterday, so we'll preview and pick tonight's slate. And it's only one game, actually. 8 o'clock on Prime Video, Lynx Liberty. It's the Commissioner's Cup Championship from Barclays Center. And obviously the Liberty won this last year in Vegas. Let's see if they do it again at home. They're giving 5 totals, 162. I'm taking the Lynx getting 5. I don't know if they're going to win the game outright, but I think it's going to be a close game. The Lynx are really good. The Liberty are good too, obviously, but I think the number's high for a high-stakes game like this. So I'm going to take the Lynx getting the 5, and the Liberty will win by 3. That's my guess. As the Liberty will be back-to-back Commissioner's Cup champions. All right, now we'll do the Men's College World Series. We have Game 3 to go over. As Tennessee gets it done with a 6-5 victory over Texas A&M as they win the series 2-1. This was just a fun game all around. Tennessee got it going first, 1-0, and then A&M tied it on an RBI single in the top of the third. This was 6-1 at one point. Texas A&M scored 2 in the 8th and 2 in the 9th to make this game a whole lot more interesting than it should have been. So congrats to Tennessee on the title. First men's college World Series in school history. So that's a historic moment for that team. The SEC just continues to dominate baseball year in and year out. You had these two teams. Florida was good this year. Georgia had one of the best players in the sport in it. Kentucky was good. So it's fun. Everybody talks about SEC football being so dominant. SEC baseball is so dominant as well. And then on the women's side next year, you're going to have Oklahoma. And the men's side, you're going to have Oklahoma and Texas too. So dominant conference. Congrats to Tennessee. All right, news and notes. We're going to try to be really quick here. So Matt Kachuk and Jason Tatum were childhood friends growing up. So that's pretty cool. They both won championships a week apart. JJ Redick says he's done with the podcast. He's moving on with his career as the Lakers coach. And then he obviously acknowledges the elephant in the room at the press conference. Helio Ramos made a over-the-shoulder catch, which was a Willie Mays-style grab while wearing the 24 yesterday, which was awesome. And they all wore 24 to honor him. The Celtics were at Fenway last night. That was pretty cool, and they brought the trophy there. So you knew the Red Sox were meant to win that game if Tatum and Brown and everybody were there. We talked about Edwin Diaz being suspended 10 games for the foreign substance policy, but he's allowed to appeal after violating it. There was a lot of Oiler fans at the game last night in Florida, which is not surprising because the Panthers always tend to get opposing fans in there. Luckily for the Panthers' sake, home ice mattered in the Game 7. The Senators acquire Linus Ullmark from the Boston Bruins for Ottawa's pick. That was the Bruins' old pick. Mark Kastelic, Jonas Korpisalo is in the deal. So, obviously, the Sens upgraded goal with the Vezina winner, and then the Bruins wiped their hands at Ullmark and reset at goal. So now they don't have a big goalie controversy going into next year, and let's see how they use that pick now. The Hawks' asking price is too high for the number 1 pick for San Antonio, as the Spurs see trading 2 top 10 picks for number 1 too rich. I would agree. The Hawks, Wizards, and Rockets are listening to trade offers for their selections. Not surprising. The Pistons and the Jazz expected to be strongest suitors for Tobias Harris in free agency, according to Shams. That's not surprising. 3 teams are eyeing Mikal Bridges. The Knicks, the Rockets, and the Jazz are all interested. The Knicks make the most sense to put him with Jalen Brunson and company, with all the Villanova people they have. But that's like the perfect trade guy for the Knicks, in my opinion. James Harden is waiting on the Paul George contract, as Harden won't make a decision until seeing how George's extension talks go. And the growing feeling around the league, though, is that George will pick up the option to force a trade. And the Nets are eyeing a pick after they lost both its picks in the James Harden deal. John Wall wants to stay in the NBA as he is willing to accept any role. The Timberwolves extend Chris Finch to a 4-year deal after the Western Conference Finals appearance. That's pretty cool. J.J. Redick understood the Danny Hurley pursuit. As he said, there's no ego or feelings hurt by the Lakers trying for Dan Hurley. De'Aaron Fox holding off extension as he's waiting to see long-term roster shape before signing a new deal. Reggie Jackson returning to the Nuggets. He picks up his $5.25 million option. Scotty Barnes to get the max deal as he's to sign the 5-year rookie extension worth up to $270 million. That's ridiculous. What has he ever done to earn that? Like, Scotty Barnes is being paid like how Trevor Lawrence just got paid. What did he do to deserve that? OG Anunoby declines his player option. He'll be an unrestricted free agent after declining the option. The Dodgers shut down Clayton Kershaw as he won't throw for a week and will restart progression due to lingering soreness in shoulder. So we'll see how that goes. It wouldn't shock me if he doesn't pitch this year or if he even retires. I feel bad. Fernando Tatis Jr. going on the injured list with a white quad injury. That's a huge loss for San Diego. He was in play for the National League MVP. Patrick Sandoval to have Tommy John surgery. It's a torn ACL. Could be out until 2026. Big loss for the Angels. J.J. Redick says he doesn't give an F about proving doubters wrong. The Portland Trailblazers say Zach Edey at 7, so they're extremely high on him. That won't shock me. Brandon Ayuk and the 49ers met yesterday amid contract and trade buzz. That's a good sign for them. Second round of MLB All-Star voting. Aaron Judge and Bryce Harper continue stronghold. That doesn't surprise me. Sparks forward Dearica Hamby is taking Brink's Team USA spot, which doesn't shock me at all. And the Kansas City Chiefs are releasing Isaiah Buggs as he was arrested twice this summer, most recently on domestic violence and burglary charge. So there you have it for news and notes. Last but not least, my best bet of the day brought to you by FanDuel. There's a lot of ones I like, but I have to go back to the well on either one or the other of these two picks. And the one I decided to go with is the higher number. I'm going to go back to yesterday's pick, under 9.5 in the Marlins Royals, minus 105. So that's best bet. So there you have it for the show. I'll be back tomorrow recapping everything. Our final NBA mock draft we'll have tomorrow. And so much more. Hope you guys have a great day, everyone.